He built a Formula One team from nothing. He became a global celebrity because of a Netflix show. He survived years of embarrassing results, driver drama, and paddock politics with the same unbreakable energy that made him one of the most recognizable figures in motorsport. And then, at 60 years old, when most people in his position would be taking the television punditry money and calling it a career, Guenther Steiner did something nobody saw coming. He bought a MotoGP team. 20 million euros. A completely different sport. A completely different world. And his first race weekend in charge ended with his own team manager describing the performance on live television as a laborious spectacle. Welcome to Guenther Steiner's MotoGP adventure. It has already started in the most dramatic way possible. I'm Seb, owner of this channel. MotoGP is my obsession, and every script you hear is written and researched by me. If you feel the same way, hit subscribe and let's enjoy this sport together. Let's go back to the beginning, because how Steiner arrived in MotoGP tells you everything about the kind of man he is. After Haas parted ways with him following the 2023 Formula One season, Steiner spent roughly 2 years doing media work, television appearances, social media, the kind of post-paddock career that many ex-team bosses settle into comfortably and permanently. But Steiner is not a man built for comfortable. He had been watching MotoGP for years with the eye of someone who saw not just a sport, but an opportunity. In his words, technology-wise, the bikes are monsters. I always loved MotoGP, but I never had the opportunity to get involved. Now that chance came, and I said, let's try to do this. Last September, at the Catalan Grand Prix, the announcement was made. Steiner was leading a consortium to acquire Tech 3, one of MotoGP's most storied and longest-serving independent teams from founder Hervé Poncharal, who had run it for 36 years. The deal was valued at just under 20 million euros. Among the investors was Alpine Formula One driver Pierre Gasly, becoming the first active F1 driver to invest in a MotoGP team. The new structure took full effect on the 1st of January 2026, and Steiner arrived at the season launch in Malaysia wearing team colors, visibly excited and completely honest about what he was stepping into. "I felt like a rookie," he said. Then he added the line that perfectly captured his state of mind. "Normally, I give a hard time to the rookie. I think now the guys will give me a hard time." The team he inherited has a history worth respecting. Tech 3 is the oldest privately owned outfit in MotoGP, founded in 1990 by Poncharal. It joined the Premier class in 2001, accumulated 38 MotoGP podiums, and produced 2 Grand Prix victories with Miguel Oliveira in 2020. Poncharal himself is a paddock legend, a man who spent over 3 decades developing young riders and competing with limited resources against factory-backed giants. When Steiner approached him about a takeover, Poncharal's public response carried genuine affection. "I know that Guenther will lead the team with direction, ambition, and integrity, not forgetting that little bit of rock and roll spirit it was founded on. Tech 3 will be in good hands." Poncharal transitioned to a consultant role. Richard Coleman joined as team principal. Nicolas Goyon remained as team manager. And Steiner assumed the role of CEO with 2 riders already contracted, Maverick Vinales and Enea Bastianini, both on KTM machinery, both carrying expectations from a pre-season test that had given genuine cause for optimism. And then Thailand happened, and the optimism evaporated within the first session of the first race weekend of Steiner's new career. Vinales and Bastianini qualified 17th and 20th respectively, neither progressing beyond Q1, both starting from the back of the grid on a circuit where overtaking is difficult and track position is everything. The sprint race was a complete washout. Vinales was classified 19th, sandwiched between 2 Pramac Yamahas, 21 seconds behind winner Pedro Acosta at the flag. Bastianini scored nothing. 0 sprint points from the opening race of the Steiner era. Sunday's Grand Prix was marginally better, but only marginally, and only because of what happened to other people. Bastianini climbed to 12th after 3 consecutive retirements. Both Marquez brothers and Joan Mir promoted him without him having to overtake anyone other than rookie Diogo Moreira. He crossed the line 23.386 seconds behind race winner Marco Bezzecchi and 18 seconds behind second-placed Acosta. Even accounting for those retirements, the Italian finished 3 places lower than he had at the same circuit 12 months earlier. Vinales was worse, running wide in the early laps, struggling for front grip throughout the entire weekend, ultimately classified 16th and outside the points. The contrast with factory KTM could not have been more brutal. Acosta won the sprint, finished second in the main race, and leads the World Championship. Binder qualified directly into Q2. Both factory bikes at the front, both satellite bikes at the very back. The gap between the same manufacturer's 2 teams could not have been drawn more starkly on the timing screens. Bastianini tried to diagnose the problem publicly and landed on something concrete, a mysterious shaking issue on the straights that neither he nor the team could explain. The race has been complicated because the movements on the straight were difficult to manage, and sometimes when we put 5th gear, the bike was very shaking. That problem has been happening since yesterday, and we cannot explain that. He was equally direct about his own dissatisfaction with his performance level. I think we have improved a little bit compared to yesterday's race, but not too much, to be honest. I cannot be really happy about my job at the moment, because my expectation was higher compared to last year. I think we need to change something in our work, because I can't be satisfied. And then he raised the issue that may be the most important structural problem facing Tech 3 this entire season. The question of whether KTM's development priorities serve the satellite team or only the factory outfit. Bastianini has urged KTM to look beyond prioritizing Acosta when it comes to developing the RC16. It is a direct challenge to the internal politics of how a manufacturer allocates its development resources. And given that Acosta's impressive results only increase the pressure on KTM to focus on their championship leader, it is a battle Bastianini is unlikely to win quickly. Steiner himself, to his enormous credit, did not hide from any of it. He had said at the Bariram test that his approach to this new world was to absorb before speaking. You need to listen before you talk, because when you talk and you don't know what you're talking about, you can look stupid pretty quickly. And so his public reaction to the Thailand weekend was measured and self-aware in equal measure. He candidly admitted, "We are a bit behind, obviously, as we've only just taken over the team at the beginning of the year." He also found himself confronted with something that caught him completely off guard even before a competitive lap had been turned the rider market. For 2027 was already moving at full speed around him, with rumors linking Acosta to Ducati, Bagnaia to Aprilia, Quartararo to Honda, and his own rider Vinales to a potential promotion to the factory KTM team. On the rider market, I think we are a little bit behind. You see, already the pressure has got me, he joked. But the rider market is something I'm not used to. We haven't started this year yet, how can we talk about riders for next year? But that is what is going on here in MotoGP, and I need to get used to it. What do you think? Can Steiner turn Tech 3's fortunes around over the course of the 2026 season? Or is the gap between the satellite and factory KTM simply too large to close? Would you want to see Tech 3 switch to Ducati machinery for 2027, and would that change their championship prospects overnight? And do you believe Guenther Steiner's personality and ambition is exactly what MotoGP needs right now? Or is running a two-wheel team a completely different challenge to anything he has faced before? Drop your predictions in the comments, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button and subscribe for more MotoGP news. I'll catch you in the next one.